These recent documents declassified by the government will make you question reality. Conspiracy theories are never in a shortage. Whichever walk of life you may be in, there's always that one person who believes that the government or some big companies are keeping secrets from the public. The truth is, we'll never know if most of the conspiracy theories we choose to ridicule are true or false. We turn to scientists and the government for most of our information, and there is no way for us to verify it personally. Taking the example of the Earth being round, for example, a growing pool of flat earthers insists that the world is in fact not round, and the government is forcing us to believe that it is. Okay, come to think of it, that's not a conspiracy theory. Anyone who has studied physics in high school can think, so let's just move on. When the government runs into something that they think will alarm the public, they classify it as sensitive information to keep it from the general public. However, the statute of limitations exists for all of these discoveries. Once a certain number of years have passed, classified documents have to be made available for the public. A lot of pictures that are being recently declassified involve UFOs, and it makes you wonder if there's truth to their existence. Today we have collected some declassified photos that make you think. What else is the government keeping from us? E.T. Are you home? Everyone born in the US is familiar with the concept of Area 51. It's a government facility that allows no access to outsiders, and for the longest time we've heard rumors it's where the government hides and studies aliens and extraterrestrial objects. Area 51 got a lot of attention last year when the internet decided to raid it the previous year for the sake of memes. Most people grow out of believing anything spooky is going on in Area 51, and we're sure there aren't any aliens kept there, but this picture got recently declassified. Now we don't know about you, but this looks like every UFO we've ever seen in the movies. There's no way of knowing what this strange looking thing is, but the ET vibes we're getting from this are pretty severe. Wait, what even is this? Imagine being a pilot who had to take a detour because of weather conditions. The pilot would be nervous due to the unexpected detour anyway, but what would be his reaction if he came across this stadium-sized monstrosity? Were you able to guess what this is? We weren't either. It doesn't look like anything we've ever seen. It's the world's biggest telescope, and it's present in China. The ability of this beast is to pick up radio signals is so amazing. It can hear radio waves coming from millions of light years away. With technology like this, if there are any aliens trying to make contact, we will definitely listen to them. It's only a matter of time. Still not available. While we show you pictures that have recently been declassified, it's important to remember the government still has hundreds of secrets that we're not privy to. They're kept from us for reasons of national security, amongst other reasons. And one of the government facilities that no one without clearance has ever seen is the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. This photo is the most we've seen of this facility, and there's no way to tell what even happens there. The Cheyenne Mountain Complex requires the highest level of access, so even most government employees aren't allowed to enter it. It makes you kind of want to see it though, right? The tragedy in pictures. 9/11 has forever changed the landscape of not only the United States, but the entire world. It changed how we talk to people, how we travel, and how we live our lives. When the planes crashed into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon was also attacked. Since the government very closely monitors any activity in the Pentagon, the public was not given access to the devastation caused there. This is one of the very few pictures that show us the devastation the Pentagon saw. One cannot even imagine the shock and horror everyone involved must have gone through. May the Lord protect our nation. UFOs in writing. The number of declassified photos that have something to do with the UFOs would make you think, why do we still find it so hard to believe in aliens? There are pictures of objects that very closely resemble UFOs, which is exciting. And it makes you wonder if the UFOs we see in popular media are inspired by real life. You know what they say, art imitates life. This document we see here goes back to 1963. The government in this heavily censored document very clearly admits that they have sighted a UFO. There is no ambiguity in this document, which is kind of scary. The family of a terrorist. It's challenging to think of terrorists as people. The media portrays them as a personification of evil who only want to wreak havoc on the world. It's always weird to come across humanizing pictures of these people. In this picture, we can see Osama bin Laden on a vacation with his family in Berlin, Germany. It makes you wonder what could have enraged an ordinary guy in such a happy-looking family to go crazy with hate. It's true what they say, you cannot judge a book by its cover. A family that went to the moon. Everyone dreams of becoming an astronaut. The idea itself is just fantastic. Taking off beyond our planet onto other worlds. When man landed on the moon for the first time, people couldn't believe it. Well, many conspiracy theorists still don't think we ever landed on the moon either. Out of the handful of people who have had the honor of walking on the moon, Charles Duke was one. He had seen how skeptical people were at NASA's ability to taking people to the moon, so he decided to leave evidence there. In a wholesome move, Charles Duke left a picture of his family on the moon, and then took a picture of it there. However, it didn't do much for evidence since we can't see the view from Earth. Good try, buddy. Give you a 10 out of 10 for effort. Astronaut pool party. When we saw this picture for the first time, it looked like an entertaining pool party. People in costumes are just chilling with floaties and having a good time. Why would a pool party be in a government classified document though? Well, it's because it's not a pool party. This is a picture of astronauts training to land in bodies of water. Actually, we think it's a drill as well as a pool party. And come on, look at their faces. They're having a blast. Hitler? Okay, this is a big one. Are you ready? This picture was taken in Argentina years after Hitler killed himself during World War II. The resemblance is pretty uncanny. The guy on the left undoubtedly looks like an older Hitler. The circumstances of Hitler's death have always given room for doubt, and this picture just takes that one step further. Hitler's death is what ended World War II, or the blood and gore would have continued for who knows how long. We hope he died when we believe that he did. Mount Rushmore, first draft. Mount Rushmore was a massive project. The workers who spent months carving out the likeness of presidents must be so nervous about making a mistake. How do you fix breaking a president's nose on a mountain? It looks like the artist got plenty of practice beforehand. This is a picture of the first draft of the current Mount Rushmore landmark. As you can see, the initial plan was to include the torso of the presidents in the carvings as well, but this was decided against before artists started working on the actual mountain. One can only assume it would have taken at least twice as much work to complete. A picture without context. This picture is the embodiment of the feeling that someone is looking at you. While this picture has been declassified, this unmarked location in Virginia is still a secret. It seems like some sort of construction, and it's probably a bunker. What was it used for, and where was it? Well, no one knows. How'd he get there? This picture seems completely harmless and even kind of wholesome. A father with a son taking a picture in front of the White House where the current president of the United States resides. However, this is a picture of Pablo Escobar. You read that right. This is the same Pablo Escobar who was one of the biggest drug lords Colombia had ever seen, and the guy who started the Medellin cartel. Escobar was a terrorist the US government spent years hunting, and his narco-terrorism had a lasting impact on the economy and the public. At the time of this picture, Escobar had made his place as one of the most wanted fugitives in the United States. It's genuinely terrifying how he was able to take such a calm picture in front of one of the most famous buildings in all of the US. The Queen herself. Queen Elizabeth, in her advanced age, looks like a sweet old grandma, the kind of grandparent who always had some chocolates and candies that are ready for you. This woman has seen the rise and fall of many empires and governments. Here we can see the Queen in the prime of her youth when she was a tough on-ground soldier. It is strange even to think that she was part of the British military. It's fascinating to know the many positions Queen Elizabeth held before becoming the most powerful monarch in the world. The start of arms race. Nuclear weapons are something the governments can't seem to get enough of. 9 countries in the world have nuclear weapons, including India and Pakistan. The arms race is genuinely bizarre as we have more weapons than we need to even destroy the entire planet. Governments around the world started collecting nuclear weapons to deter other countries from attacking them. To date, the only time these horrible weapons have been used was the US bombing Japan at the end of World War II. In this picture, we can see the first nuclear bomb made by the US. People standing next to it must be the bravest people ever, and regardless of how safe the weapons are unless activated, they contain more power and destruction than we could ever imagine. Secret tunnels. The Cold War was a time of preparation. Governments all over the world were preparing for fights. Thankfully, most of them never occurred. To be ready in case Russia escalated the situation, the US created extensive underground tunnels and facilities known as strategic strike locations. If you stop for a moment to think about the massive funds and efforts that have gone into creating these networks, it's challenging to believe that they're all out of operation. The government claims none of these are in use currently, but who knows? The iconic UFO crash. While there are many sightings and recordings of UFOs around the world, some of them get more attention than others. The Rockwell crash is one of the UFO incidents that gained a lot of traction in the media. There is no way of knowing what about this crash made it so special. Was someone or something retrieving from the wreckage? The door of destruction. With the amount of nuclear energy and nuclear weapons the US is involved with, it makes sense that we have a lot of nuclear waste piling up. Nuclear waste is hazardous. The nuclear materials used to harvest energy and make weapons have half-lives up to 24,000 years. Anyone who has exposure to these materials can face fatal consequences. This manhole-like door is what keeps nuclear waste away from the population. Nuclear waste storage facilities are made far away from populated areas to make sure people are not harmed by it.